Hey guys, so you're interested in getting your skills assessment as a metal machinist. My name's Zandt and I'm joined by Steve Tran, who's one of our assessors. So, Steve, firstly, welcome, mate.
Great to be here, Wes, and looking forward to giving some information about the technical interview process for Metal Machinists.
Yeah, so let's talk about the skills assessment process, guys. So, the skills assessment process is a required part of a visa, if depending on the passport you hold, if you're applying for an employer-sponsored visa, or if you're looking to go down any skilled independent visa pathway or the employer 186, then a skills assessment's mandatory. And through the Down the Centre in Australia Trade Training College, we're able to facilitate that program by the TRA program. So a skills assessment is broken into two stages. The first part of the skills assessment is probably the most challenging part of any part of the visa, which is you proving on paper that you've got the necessary skills. So you've got two pathways when it comes to skills assessments. You've got pathway one, which would be most people, who that means you don't hold an Australian qualification. If you do hold an Australian qualification, let's say you're onshore and you did an RPL, then you'd be classed as pathway two. So if we talk about pathway one to start, so pathway one requires you to have a relevant qualification and 3 years of full-time paid work experience. And that can be pre or post qualification. So if you just finished your apprenticeship and you've got 3 years of experience, including your apprenticeship, you can prove it financially and you hold your papers, then you'll qualify. Well, we say qualify. There's still lots of other things you need to do, but then you'll have the necessary work experience and qualification to move forward. So pay documents, tax documents, photos, videos, references. There's a whole lot of stuff you need. You're proving on paper you have the necessary skills. That's for a documentary assessment. Let's say you never completed a qualification, then would be asking for 5 years of full-time paid work experience. So if you haven't got a qualification, you can prove more than 5 years of paid work experience, we still put you down as a pathway one, and we can get you through down that pathway. The second part of a skills assessment is you do a technical interview, and this is why we brought Steve in for this video as well, so we can I'll do a bit of a Q&A with Steve about what's involved, and because he'll be your assessor. Well, he's one of our assessors, so there's a good chance you'll have Steve on the other end. Now, when you do a technical interview, you'll have yourself, one of our assessors, and someone from immigration, known as an invigilator. Their job is to make sure no coaching or cheating is happening. So 2 stages to the skills assessment. If you are a pathway two client, you're still going to provide the necessary documentation for the documentary assessment, and you'll still need to do a technical interview as well. So guys, what we do is we have a service. We call this our agency service, where depending on where you are, if you're in Australia, for example, we charge $1,050 plus GST. If you're in the UK, for example, you would charge a fee of £600 plus VAT for that. We'll work with you to gather all the documentation we need for the skills assessment. We know exactly what's needed for a successful skills assessment. At the same time, we'll also work with you to gather all the documentation we need for your work experience points. If you're applying for a skilled visa, it's a points-based visa, and we're going to work with you to gather all those documents. We'll give you practice English exam preparation. We even put all of our clients in the one Facebook group. We have thousands and thousands of clients in that group. All clients of ours that either just arrived in Australia, just started the process like yourself, or maybe halfway through the process. I mentioned we'll give you practice English exam preparation. That's really important too. An English test isn't required for the skills assessment, but it's required for the visa. And how we do all this, guys, is we give you access to what we call is our client portal. So instead of you guessing what photos, videos, references, pay documents, tax documents, all the ingredients you need for a successful skills assessment and visa, we'll give you access to the portal. And we have a client manager and then the assessors there on the other end of the portal giving you the information that you need, as well as our visa team and all that as well. So, Steve, if you want, you can always inquire on our website and fill in the points visa calculator, or just send an inquiry if you want information, and one of the team will be able to reach out. But Steve, this is about you, mate. So skills assessment, metal machinist. We spoke about gathering all the documentation and the challenges people have on the portal, but the good news is you're at the other end of the portal offering support. What are some of the things that maybe metal machinists struggle to gather during their documentary assessment process?
Yeah, look, the biggest challenges that candidates are facing throughout the documentary process is when they've worked at an employer that may have shut down. Now, this is quite
Yeah.
common in the metal sort of industry, especially the manufacturing with metal machinists. We understand that, and it's about working with your client manager and your assessor to, that's what they're on your team to go and get that information for you. So that's really not a worry, but honestly, it's honestly just the past employments where we're finding that they're not able to gather the documents correctly.
Yeah, and I guess that's one of the challenges when we go down the official assessment process. So after they pay the TRA fees, the references will be contacted. Obviously, it's important now, as Steve mentioned, if a company has gone under, or maybe you don't want to tell your employer that you're passing, then we've got methods on the portal that will and help you, and the client managers and Steve, etc., can guide you through it. So, technical interview stage. You've done the videos because you don't just assess our machinists, you assess a few other occupations for us. Metal Machinist, what happens during the technical interview stage? What are some questions you might be asking them?
Yeah, look, so in the technical interview stage, we essentially need to gather 96 points to pass through the technical interview stage with a successful outcome. None of that gets tallied by the candidate, that's all done by the assessor. But basically, there'll be general questions about workshop machining, okay? So these aren't in-depth questions that we know. I'm not going to be asking you to list off every G code or M code there is in the book. It's going to be more of a generalized question. So I might ask, say, in the case you're a manual or conventional machinist, I might ask you general questions about how to operate a lathe machine safely and also a milling machine safely, and describe your experiences on that machine.
Yeah, and I guess there's so many questions because there's quite a lot involved in metal machinists, like your other engineering occupations, and many crossover as well. So we provide a self assessment questionnaire. So if you're not sure if you're a machinist, maybe a fitter, fabricator, welder, if you cross over a little bit, then we provide self assessment questionnaires that our team will be able to advise you, and it helps you get you through. Mate, technical interview, it's not you're there to catch them out. It's there for you to get the necessary information from them. Give us your thoughts on how a technical interview goes.
Yeah, exactly right. Was the technical interview isn't about trying to catch somebody out. Essentially, what they've done beforehand in the stages one and two, the documentary stages and evidence collecting, is you're getting yourself and preparing yourself ready for the technical interview. And even before you come into the interview, the candidate and myself have already built a relationship where we hope to make you feel as comfortable as possible in the interview when you come in. Like you said before, we have the third party invigilator in there from the government. And some people do, get a little bit worried that they hear, oh, there's a government official in there, but that's not the case at all. That they're there for you, the candidate, to make sure that you're getting a fair assessment, and also that your assessor is delivering you a a fair assessment in effect. They're good for you, and they're also good for me.
Yeah, they work well. That's exactly what they're there for. Now, let's talk about the photos and videos and everything that's required. Give us some ideas of what photos and videos are required in the for the documentary assessment stage, please, mate.
Yeah, sure. So, look, we have basic core units that are essential to gain, and you'll see those once you look at your SAQ and once you start using the portal. But look, basic photo and video evidence must have you, the candidate, in the photo or in the video. We need to clearly see that it's you operating that machinery. But what we also can find as well is that, look, not all workshops will have horizontal and vertical boring machines, or even CNC machines. It's a very important fact to state as well that if you are a manual machinist or just only operate conventional machines and you're not a CNC machinist, this is fine. We can still get you through a skills assessment to come in. Um,
Yeah.
it's basic photos and videos of you safely operating that machinery and doing basic job tasks, facing, threading, just the general machining. Basic level machining is what we need.
Yeah, because I guess at the end of the day, your job is to tick units of competency. That's what it is, and you measure them against certain standards. So your photos and videos, make sure you're all your PPE gears on, etc., and you are operating in a safe manner. That's really important. Little things can deem to a failed assessment, and again, that's why we have our client portal. So prior to officially doing the assessment, we can make sure everything's correct and what you need for an assessment. Now, what happens if a client no longer performs tasks that you're asking for? What's the way around that, mate?
Yep. So there's a few ways around that. We can evidence doesn't have to be in the form of just videos and photos. We can also do written evidence as well. So that you'll find that there's a written applicant kit that we can provide evidence for. Also, the technical interview counts towards as evidence as well. The beauty of the portal as well is we have a function on the portal where we can click a button to say if we don't do or perform those duties anymore, tell us why you can't gather the evidence, and
Yeah.
we can also, the assessor can approve that and say, yep, that's going to be fine.
Yeah, I guess the beauty of it too is if you're a Pathway 1 client, a completion of this actual skills assessment, you'll be issued with your full Australian qualification, which is extremely helpful if you are trying to get into the mines, for example. Lots of employers prefer that because that means that you've shown that you held the necessary Australian skills. Remember, it's an Australian qualification. So it works really well with employers' insurance and everything like that. So if you're the partner of the main applicant and you're a metal machinist, this is obviously a good assessment to complete as well. Mate, any advice you'd like to offer our metal machinists?
Uh, yeah, come on board, get in board, and start working in Australia. Number one, but look, the biggest piece of information I can give you is take the leap. Come and get involved and work with the assessor. You know, we're both here to help you get through, and also your client manager. Um, don't be afraid. Even with technical interviews and stuff, we'll be building the relationship together offline once we're sort of going through this journey with you together. So um, that's the biggest thing I can tell people. Just come on board. We can work with you. We can get you here.
It's hard, Steve, for them, for migrants, looking for the skilled visa. We want Australia, want English speaking skilled migrants who have an occupation on the skilled list. They do that for a reason. There's a need for metal machinists. There's a need for our engineering occupations. There's a huge need. Like this is being recorded in September 2025, and it's just there's lots of work at the moment. If you're looking for jobs, we also have employers through other migration companies we work with and recruiters we work with that are looking for people as well. So we've got the employment hub there for you too. But Steve, just want to thank you, mate, for everything that you do. And, you're going to make another video to add on to the actual portal, which is going to run through a bit more stuff. So, guys, if you're a metal machinist, the Downer Centre is definitely here to assist you through your pathway. Take care, everyone, and good luck with your journey to Oz. See ya.
Good luck.